back now at 8:10 with one of our favorite movies of all time, The Sound of Music. It seems hard to believe, but the classic story of hope, love, and following our dreams is now 45 years old.
And now, for the first time, it is available on Blu-ray, digitally remastered and restored in high definition. And this morning, we are thrilled to have Julie Andrews and the 7 actors who starred as the Von Trapp children with us. Forever the Von Trapp children. Lisa was played by Charmian Carr. Friedrich was played by Nicholas Hammond. Louisa was portrayed by Heather Menzies. Dwayne Chase played the role of Kurt. Angela Cartwright portrayed Brigitte. Marta was played by Deborah Larson. And last but not least, Gretel played by Kim Carruth. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
45 years. When you look back,
I lost a decade somewhere. I just don't believe it.
No, it's
feels like
amazing.
about, well, maybe 35, but not 45.
but not 45.
No, not at all.
Several
That's
decades.
impossible.
Yeah.
You know, in a nutshell now, because this is a hard question to answer concisely, and I'm asking you to do that, but what does the movie mean to you looking back? And I'll start with you, Julie, and go right down the line.
I think it means that it was one of the beautifully crafted movies in the great Hollywood golden era of wonderful musicals. And in this particular case, we've all been told that it actually transcended the stage production. Usually,
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. In this case, I think we did just a notch better. Not that it was bad, but yeah.
It means to me having a second family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You get emotional when you say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've all stayed in touch, and
That's
we
right.
all love each other a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's what the film's success is. It's about love. It's about every kind of love.
Yeah.
And certainly we have it for each other.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that to be a part of something that has inspired so many generations of people. You know, it's become sort of a multi-generational film in that, you know, I have a 12-year-old and all her friends love it. And, you know, and...
Yeah, at some point in a child's life, it's a must-see movie. still.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
I'll have to reiterate. Oh, sorry. I'll have to reiterate the family part and to realize and finally come to accept the fact that it has affected so many lives, and I just happen to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's been
we're
wonderful.
lucky.
Yeah.
When you have someone come up to you and say they put the Sound of Music in when they're feeling down just to lift their spirits, I mean, what could be better than that, being in a movie that does that to people?
My turn?
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that it's lasted 45 years and it's still as popular now as it ever was. I mean, that's pretty amazing,
It is
I think.
amazing.
Right.
Proud to be part of it.
And now you.
After 6 answers with which I completely concur, basically, for me, family, absolutely second family here, and also the history of my own family, because my mother came with me and she's no longer with us, and every time I see the movie, I feel her, and I think those of
remember
us.
that.
And remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you were all really so young, and this must be just so part
We
of now
still
your
are.
DNA.
Exactly. The face now you have not.
But also, I mean, we have to mention that the music is such a part of this movie. And
I
to
think
sort of,
there's a quality of joy about the movie that transcends. I mean, forget the fact that we had glorious scenery and a wonderful story and children and religion and
The whole bit.
marvelous music. The actual combination of joy and the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And it's made for us. We're all deeply grateful we were part of it, and it's made for us, as you said, a family.
Yeah.
Well, you almost weren't a part of it, right? There was a moment where you weren't sure whether you wanted to do another nanny film.
Actually, that's sort of been a bit hyped.
Oh, that's not true.
It really, Meredith. Yeah.
Well, but I know something that is true, though, because I interviewed with Robert Wise. And
Yes,
he said that the director, and this before he passed away, and he told me the story about the casting of you. He said that there was a nasty rumor going around that you weren't photogenic. So that he and some producers went over and they saw the early footage of Mary Poppins because it hadn't been released yet.
That's right.
And they decided that you were perfect for the role. Did you have any idea?
No, as
that they
funnily
were-
enough, the day we finished shooting, our director of photography came up to me and said, I've been meaning to tell you the whole film. He said, you have a little bump here on your nose, and if you want to just get it fixed, it would make life a lot easier for all of us. And I went, oh, okay, I never did anything.
You're perfect as you are. Charmian, everybody thought, you know, you played 16 going on 17, but in real life you were 21. at
Yes,
the time.
I was much older and wiser.
Yes. And you had a crush on your father in the film, Christopher Plummer.
Yes.
Yeah, like
We
a lot
all
of us did.
Well,
Absolutely.
I did, so it's okay.
He couldn't join us because he's making a movie right now, but what was it like working with him?
It was so wonderful.
He was a Shakespearean trained actor.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
know.
he-
I was nervous.
He
Yeah.
made that part so much more. And I think he rewrote almost every line of his dialogue.
He said he was nervous actually singing Edelweiss with you, Julie, because you're such a trained singer, and he actually was shaking, he said, singing that song
how
with
sweet.
you.
How sweet. We have stayed such good friends with Chris, and I know. I think he's in Sweden right now, making
Right, Girl
making
with the Dragon
Girl with the
Tattoo.
Dragon Tattoo. Yeah.
Well,
So we miss him.
Yeah, most
Yes.
of you were little kids, and Angela, I know that you guys, you had little hijinks that you got up to, like switching shoes outside the hotel doors and things like that. Did you ever get in real trouble, or was it just the atmosphere just very playful?
Well, we did get yelled at a couple times by the the guy behind the counter in the hotel. But you know, the movie had taken a little longer because of the weather.
Yeah, the weather was miserable, right?
Rain and rain. Yes.
So we had a few hold-ups, and we got a little bored, and there's 7 of us. I mean, come on, 7, you know. So we did get into a few things, but nothing like today.
I just
So you're going to be just
I think Chris got into more mischief than all of us.
Yeah, because, you know, actually the people of Salzburg weren't all that thrilled to have us there.
Really? Why not?
We were blocking streets, and we were in the way, and we were these Americans, and they had no idea,
it was
of
their
course.
story.
And it was their story,
Yeah.
and, you know, and why are these Americans coming over and dressing extras up in Nazi uniforms?
And that was very disconcerting for the people in the town.
And, of course, they didn't
The
have any
Nazi
understanding
uniforms.
of what the film was going to be.
Right,
Now I
exactly.
think they're quite happy.
Yeah, because they actually have now a Sound of Music bus tour.
Right.
And you
Yes,
can
and
actually
there's a
walk
lot
around
of talk about there being a Sound of Music museum. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
going to happen or not.
Did you, I mean,
Yeah.
Heather, did you have any idea? Obviously, you were a very little girl, but most of you were kids, that this would turn into what it did.
Absolutely
No.
not.
I certainly
Absolutely
have
not.
no
Yeah,
clue.
yeah.
No, we had no clue. We still, I mean, I can't believe we're sitting here talking about it with you today. You know, it's just, you know.
Yeah.
It's not something you can
I
pre-plan.
think you hoped
Absolutely not.
You hoped you had a good movie, but not anywhere near the size and scope that
No.
it was. And I think we all hoped to make it a little less saccharine.
Yeah.
This scene that they're showing now is funny because just before cameras roll, you have to watch me go over the back, feet up. The feet, 1, 2, 3.
But actually, there was a serious thing that happened there,
Oh,
wasn't
yes,
there?
they asked me, they said just before camera rolled, they said, the little one can't swim, so would you please fall forward and rush to get her? And
And I wasn't really supposed to do the scene. It was my extra that was supposed to do the scene. But he wanted authenticity, and he asked
he got
me.
it.
He asked
Yeah.
me, and I, trooper that I was.
must have gone under
you know,
2 or
said
3
yes,
times,
and, yeah.
Was it frightening? I mean, it had
Oh
been
my
very
God,
frightening.
absolutely. I mean, and not only that, we had to do it twice. So the first time it went fine,
right.
and Julie caught me, but it was, and then we dried off and did it again, and at that point my
and
heart
that's
was
the
in my
time
throat.
when I went over the back instead of over the front.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There
she
were
ingested
also-
so much water, she threw up all over me.
Oh, my gosh.
Not fun for anyone.
Glad they cut that part out.
Yeah.
There were also leeches in that lake,
Yeah.
so
That's
none of us wanted to touch
stand-ins.
the bottom of the lake.
Does anybody have
And I hated my costume. Oh my gosh.
You did?
I hated that costume with such a passion.
Why?
It was because it was like overalls. I've never worn overalls in my entire life.
Even at 5.
Or hair blue jeans.
And Nicholas, did you grow like 6 inches during the course of the film?
I did.
So-
I started at 5'3" in that first shot where we're coming down and where we meet our new governess, and I was 5'9" by the end. So I think every week I was in
6
for a new
inches.
costume fitting.
Yeah.
We're actually doing a book now about all these stories and everything because we get asked about this for 45 years. So we finally decided, let's get all our memorabilia together, all our photos, all the stuff we've got, and home movies.
Yep.
So we're going to do a book, and that way we can give back to the fans.
That's
And,
fantastic.
everything
and
that
to
they've
think,
given us.
Deborah, that after all of these years, something that you did when you were such a young child would now result in a book where
Yeah.
all those things, I mean, that must just really slay you. It must really
Oh, I'm so
be...
excited. Every time we get together, we all share new memorabilia that we've got. And to think that I will have a copy of everybody's stuff.
And there are so many
mine.
great behind
that
the
is
scenes
exciting.
shots too. And there are,
And
yeah.
God bless our mothers, because they kept everything. You know, we've got our call sheets, and I mean, stuff that we would have never held on
Premiere
to as
tickets.
kids.
Right.
So we
Photographs.
thought, you know,
Photographs.
people should see this stuff. They're all interested, so we're going to.
And you also stayed in touch with the real Von Trapp family. In
Yeah.
fact, you said when you leave here, you're going up
I'm
to
going
Vermont.
I'm going up to the Von Trapp Lodge this afternoon. Yeah.
To just go spend time with them.
Yeah, to spend it, because they're our other family.
Yeah.
And you said that
Something.
I guess it's the granddaughter or the
Maria, who is the daughter.
Maria,
One of
the daughter.
daughters,
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Roughly
the
Louisa,
older
the
Maria.
Louisa character.
But now the
She's
is
in
it
her
the
90s.
great grandchildren that are
Yes.
out on the road, four
Right.
of them, doing also
Still singing.
concerts and still singing.
Like
yeah.
angels. They sing
Yeah.
like
Yes, they
angels.
sing very,
Well, you
very well.
all, it was your voice as
Yes.
well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You
All
all
did
sang
our
like
singing.
angels, you know that.
Was the last time you sang back then, or have you sang together since?
Oh, we've been on the road.
Yes.
We actually sang at the Hollywood Bowl in front of 20,000 people with the
real Von Trapp.
That's right.
Yes.
children.
Will you give us just a little?
No.
no.
You want to keep your audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You really
We don't want to shatter their illusion.
Next time.
That's
We'll make you
we won't
practice.
sing on it.
I was going to say, if you will, we will.
In that case, do, female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun.
Good.
Me a name I call myself, far a long, long way to run. So a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread.
Oh, come on.
That will bring us back to go.
I know better now than I was then.
Thank you.
Catskills.
Yeah.
Well, if you'll come with
Scranton
us,
tonight, folks.
we're on the road.
By the way, if you want to mention.
The Sound of Music, Blu-ray DVD, special collector's gift set. That's not on it. Available now. And Julie will be back in our next half hour to tell us about her new children's book. It's great. Oh. But first, these messages. Thank you guys so much. Give our best